It's time to go into the SPP Film Room for Chalk Talk with Coach Andy, Scheel, and Drew. Brought to you by QwikCut Video and Analytics. Store, share, and analyze game film. QwikCut is an affordable video analysis platform to elevate game performance. Get started with a free trial today by visiting QwikCut.com. Now here are Coach Andy, Scheel, and Drew. Welcome, everybody, to the Sportsman the podcast, and this is the SPP Film Room Chalk Talk with Coach Andy, Scheel of the Marine City Mariners. Coach, how you doing?
Doing well tonight, Drew. Doing well tonight. A little bit of a solemn game this past Sunday, as we reported yesterday when we had our Lions review. But the SPP Film Room will take a little closer look.
Yeah, and let's just jump into it, Coach. I'm going to pull her up right now and get our mugs off of the screen here, or actually get us on the screen here. Of course, there we go. And let's talk about this first play, Coach. Right now, we're looking at this is really an RPO pass from Lamar Jackson on this one, and let's talk us through this one.
Well, really, I'm going to question the Lions scheme, and I'm going to question Lions scheme against the Baltimore Ravens. And really, anytime we have a mobile quarterback, it does not seem that we account for him with the right defenders. What you're going to see here is Zay Flowers come in motion, and you're going to see Aiden Hutchinson chase the ball fake to the zone give to the running back Hill. He's going to follow this. He's going to follow Stanley, number 78, down the line and attack the running back and chase on him. What you have is now Lamar Jackson running free with no perimeter help. It's going to come from a linebacker to be responsible for defending him. Well, in doing so, what you're going to see is Odell Beckham come popping wide open and underneath as everybody now frames to defend Lamar Jackson on the run. And Odell Beckham makes a little quick reception here around the 31-yard line, comes underneath, and picks up a first down. This is going to be a reoccurring theme we're going to see over and over and over again, is the same type of scheme in defending Jackson and watching players basically be caught in the middle of either defending the run or the pass. And that's going to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, like you said, you want Hutchinson here respecting.
Yeah, you would really want him to kind of come up to about the 23-yard line working upfield here. I mean, okay, the running back, we've got defense over on that side of the field. We've got defense underneath. He wants to cut back, let Alex Anzalone take care of the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's account for the quarterback with a perimeter defender. I think Aiden Hutchinson could have easily been a guy that makes a play for a tackle for loss on that.
Yeah, definitely. I got to agree with you there, Coach. And like you said, this sadly is a reoccurring theme in this game. We're going to see some more of that coming up. So let's go to the next play here. This really, these aren't chronological here. They're just plays we want to talk about, though, in general. And this is a play action catch to Gus Edwards. It's a big play, Coach.
Yeah, you're going to see, Gus Edwards had several big plays against the Lions. They motion the H-back or the fullback here, and they're going to fake give it to Edwards. Now, what you have here is Alex Anzalone. Remember, here he is. He's right over the top of Edwards. I know we've got two guys chasing. We're obviously in man coverage. We have two defenders chasing and trailing Mark Andrews. He's wide open. He could have made this play. But what you have here, moreover, is you have Anzalone is going to be responsible for defending Lamar Jackson, not Gus Edwards. He's going to come up and rush the passer. This allows Gus Edwards to be wide open. Wide open. Who's defending him? And now here he's off to the races because we're in man coverage. Yep. We've got nose guards chasing Gus Edwards downfield. Because we're in man coverage, all these defensive backs are way downfield. And because of our scheme and how we're going to defend, I don't know, we have a perimeter defender underneath the formation. Aiden Hutchinson's helping nothing in there. Nothing. And you have Alex Anzalone trying to defend the passer here.
So, Coach,
Edwards is wide open.
And you're spot on. So my question to you, I don't know if we know the answer, but I'm sure Aaron Glenn does. Was that Hutchinson's responsibility and just poor scheme, or is he getting just too aggressive here? And then all of a sudden we've got a problem.
It's one or the other. It's one or the other. historically, and this goes way before Aaron Glenn, and let's Aaron Glenn's a fine defensive coach. There's a lot of different ways to do different things, and because maybe one scheme seems to get foiled does not make you a bad coach, not at all. So if this is on Aaron Glenn and his scheme, these are some correctable things that he's either going to come up with himself or the next guy's gonna. If it is Aiden Hutchinson, let's get this fixed. I know he was allowed to come underneath at Michigan. He was allowed to. University of Michigan defenders are allowed to come underneath. We see it today.
Yep.
But, maybe different things can be demanded from Aiden Hutchinson, because I think there's a different way to utilize him in a scheme here that will be very successful. Obviously not allowing 30 yards here on release flare plays here like this.
Yeah, very good point, Coach. Now let's go to the next one here. And this one, we talked about this off before the show here. This is the interception from Goff, and the ball looks so poorly thrown, but it's difficult to determine whether Goff really just threw a really poor pass or did Williams run the wrong route on this one. Let's walk us through.
Well, this is a deep ball to J-Mo. This is a deep ball to J-Mo, and what you're going to have here, he is right there. They motion Khalif Raymond. He's going to help try to clear underneath. And J-Mo, just like he typically is able to do, is able to get that free release downfield. That he's very good at. Here comes the ball. J-Mo is fading towards that pylon right there. He's like running a post towards the pylon. This ball's thrown in the middle of the field. So this is a very simple case of whodunit, fans. Is that a poor throw and a play that got away from Jared Goff? Or is that Jameson Williams not running his proper route?
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. So, I mean, it's some sort of, it's one or the other. And it's not fair to either player, because neither you or I were in that huddle. Neither you and I know that the true dynamic and scheme of what this play is supposed to look like. So for us to blame Jameson Williams, we would be off. We would be off base, and we'd be off putting it off base if we blame Jared Goff for this as well. But it is a miscommunication of some kind, or either a missed throw or a bad route. It's one of the two.
Yep, exactly, and that's important. Not only for the fan, it's important for the fans to understand that it's like it's not. You can't take everything at face value in football in general, because there's just so many different scenarios that can play out, and you don't really know what happened. We do know this: Jared Goff threw an interception. That's what we do know, and that's unfortunate. So they'll get that cleaned up, I'm sure, Coach. But yeah, it didn't look good on Sunday. Let's look at the next play here. This is actually just a nice play to Sam Laporta. They did some nice things in this game. We're going to look at some of this. Let's talk about this one, Coach.
Absolutely, yeah. Not all was lost here. Sam Laporta, again, they kind of have this bunch route system. He gets a little bit of a chip here, which makes it look like he's going to hang. That's going to draw the other defender up and start. He's going to also rush the passer. I think that might be in Hamilton. And what you have is Jared Goff, and this kind of also shows, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer and a negative Nancy here, but again, Goff holds this ball too long. Okay, if you see, right now you can see he's open. Obviously, we're not going to throw it now. He's not looking. But right now, he turns his head. Right now, we wait 1 second too long. And these are the things that are going to lead to 5 sack outings. He was reading slow. His reads were off this past week. But, this was a nice play. We picked up a significant gain here.
But that's a great.
There weren't many significant gains, so you're absolutely right. Good play concept.
Yeah.
Good release. A chip and release by Sam Laporta, and it worked. Good way to get him the football.
This offense, and you mentioned this prominently in our review of the game that you can also get on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, by the way, folks. You mentioned that this offense, the defense played poorly, but the offense didn't help them at all by even having any sustained drives, and that just kept them on the field forever. They've got it, and I think if there's a criticism for Goff in this game that's prominent, is that he was just like a half second too late, or maybe a bad read here and there, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Absolutely.
let's go to the next play here, Coach. This is the Jahmyr Gibbs rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it's in garbage time pretty much, but they're playing hard, and the starters are out there. So let's talk about this one.
Nonetheless, and we'll also start off with, again, an indictment here, because what we're going to see here is as the ball snapped, what is Jameson Williams doing? The ball's been snapped. He's not out of the stance. He's not out of the stance. He doesn't realize the ball's been snapped.
Look at that. He looks back.
Now, I mean, the play is well and underway. The ball's been tossed. He's not out of the stance. He's still standing there. Now, oh, holy smokes, I'm ready to get going. And he's still able to get in front of the corner here and actually put in a nice block. Taylor Decker, very impressive to get downfield here.
Oh, yeah.
And, Jahmyr Gibbs has got great wheels. It's a great alley. This play's poorly schemed by the Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, there's just an automatic scheme. Our wide receiver, who didn't even move 2 seconds after the play was started, was able to get a key block still. That means your defense is not lined up in a great spot to defend that play. But again, it was tight. It was well called, a great call by Ben Johnson, because they were in a defense that really had no one in that alley. So, yeah, good job, Lions. Got on the board.
Now here's an issue with JMO. There was a deep ball here, and this I know he had 6 targets and he didn't have any catches. There were reasons for some of them. This one's on him, and a little concerning. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Drew, you hit the nail on the head, but as the ball gets snapped, okay, he kind of gives the stuff. That's something that's fine, and he gets over the top. He once again does something that he does well. Let's get over the top. JMO, this is why we drafted you, buddy. This is why we drafted you, for the deep ball. He lost it. He lost it.
You're right. I mean, he did a great job getting over the top. He had at least a step. He had a step and a half on his defender. I mean, that's 6 points. And I get, again, it's late in the game, but that's the kind of play he's got to make. That's why they traded up to get him. It's just he's got to have.
This is something that needs to be rectified. Something that needs to be rectified. Pure, plain, and simple.
Well, Coach, we're going back now. This is in the first quarter. This is the first touchdown of the game, actually, here. Lamar Jackson. This is really a pretty well-schemed play here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Ben Johnson does this kind of stuff all the time. We see this across the league. They're going to motion the half ace or the ace back in motion, and they're going to actually roll where he was. They're going to roll away from motion. Again, let's go back, Coach, if we can. Just like Aiden Hutchinson, we're going to see John Kaminsky this time knife underneath to take on a back that's running away from him, not defend the quarterback. And now the only one that can defend him is actually the offensive tackle that's out here to lead block for him. This is a touchdown 10 out of 10 times. There's no way Kirby Joseph can make this play. This is not good. It's not good scheme by the Lions. That scheme needs to be adjusted. They need to look into adjusting their scheme there.
The defensive end is going inside and playing hard against the run on all of those plays that you're talking about, and then there's all kinds of space for Lamar Jackson to do exactly what you're trying to prevent him from doing.
Who's defending him on this play? If we rewind it one more time.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to make a testimonial out of this. But you tell me, folks, the Lions fans, who's defending Lamar Jackson, the best running quarterback in the league, in this play? Who's defending him right now? There's nobody. There's nobody defending him. Don't say Kirby Joseph. There's no way he was ever going to make that play.
No. Good point. So that was early, and that was early in the game here. So it's like, but you hope you can make adjustments. Unfortunately, they were not able to do so, and we'll see more of that here. This is a painful one here, Coach. 9.5 seconds of time for Lamar Jackson. I don't care who you are. Someone's getting open on a play like this. Let's talk about it.
I like the way they defend Lamar Jackson here. This is a good way to do it. He's totally bracketed. Has nowhere to go. We just can't make a play here. We have him pinned in. We're at quarterback depth. He's contained here. We have 2 punching and sitting defensive tackles, not allowing the pocket to collapse. He had nowhere to go, but we could not tackle him. And out of this, come on, Aiden. You're gonna wind up downfield? Let's finish the play, guys. You gave your defensive backs no help there. That's on the defensive line not being able to make a play.
Yep.
And that's going to be addressed either this week, this month, or 2024.
And I'm not an apologist for, the Lions in general. And, you know that. And certainly I know our subscribers know that too. But at the same time, this is really the first time this season we saw the Lions really just not on their game. I mean, at all. I mean, they just were not sharp, and they were really, it was like they were guessing.
Well, in that time, we saw them. I mean, the defensive staff did a great job of putting them in a position to succeed there.
They just didn't make
a play.
Yep, exactly. Here's another one. Patrick Rickard on a catch here, and I like this one. Let's talk about it because he doesn't just chip here. He kind of does like a hold for 2 seconds. Like
very similar though to the Sam Laporta reception. It's very similar. You see him; he's bunkered in here, and he looks like he's going to hunker in and be in total pass pro here. It's either a 1 or a 2 second release here, and he releases. I believe that's on Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
They're in man coverage. That would have been his defense. That would have been the guy to defend him. There is nobody. Once again, remember the Gus Edwards play?
Yep.
Very much the same. They're in man coverage way downfield on receivers. So Ricard's got all this space to run. Big, thick, stocky, a half-ace fullback. And, we don't, and all we can do is have Kirby Joseph cut tackle him for about a 25, 30-yard gain.
Ugly. That was ugly.
And I'm not saying the Lions, I'm not, chastising them for being man cover. Almost all the teams are man cover the majority of the time in the NFL. There's very few, majority zone cover teams, although zone is run. Right there is what you see. You have to, be careful with Jack Campbell. We blitzing and are having Jack Campbell delayed, rush on that just made that play wide open. Jack Campbell probably should be sitting on Ricard there because we're in man coverage. And if we're going to have sound man coverage, we got to make sure anybody that's a threat to run a route is covered. Everybody. Because otherwise you're going to have all sorts of room to rumble like you saw there.
You got it. Here's one where they get gashed by Gus Edwards here. It's a big run off of the right tackle. Let's talk about this one, Coach.
We talk a lot about, as a defensive on defense too, about attacking space. Right now, you'll see that there's a space right here between 78 and 64. That's a full alley. There's a lot of space there. And the defensive back that Coach Drew's got circled here is kind of hovering that space, not attacking it. Well, if you don't attack that space attacks you. And now you have an offensive tackle over the top. And now that space, if you rewind it a little bit, is reformed. Now that space is wider. That alley is now deeper and wider. And now you've got a defensive back being blocked as well. Edwards is going to race for a while here. Derek Barnes takes a poor angle there. Anzalone hustles hard. And right there, Kirby Joseph took shrapnel there and took a ding for some poor defense there. And just a guy that's not attacking aggressively there. And he got aggressively attacked. And Gus Edwards picked up, about 15, 20 yards there?
Yeah, at least. Just, unfortunately, we saw that all day, right, Coach? And now this is what we didn't see a lot of, Coach. And this to me, I get, we talked off air about this too. And it's like, I get you got to scheme against Lamar Jackson, but this Lions team, to me, I won't say intimidated. I think they had too much respect for the Baltimore defense. This Lions offense is potent. They need to come in and do what they do best and defy whoever your opponent is, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, whoever. You stop us, and then we'll adjust. It seemed like they were just going to take what they were given, and they weren't being given a whole lot, which is why they kept the defense on the field out of the game. But I digress. This is a nice play by Khalif Raymond. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, due to injuries, we got Khalif Raymond playing, out of the running back position. We got J-Mo coming in motion. He motions underneath. Flaring back to the right where to the side J-Mo was is Khalif Raymond. They got a good exterior pass rush. Penei Sewell gets a good kick. But right here, it's a slip screen. It's again a screen concept. You've got Glasgow Ragnow and big Hank Vitae,
Yep.
bellowing outside of that formation. and cutting underneath those guys is Khalif. It's what we call a slip screen. And then it's the Lions' first down. Great play concept, well executed. So yeah, all things weren't up for a loss. We had good plays too.
Here's a Mark Andrews catch here, Coach. So let's talk about this one. He's one of the best tight ends in the league, and you got to account for him too. Let's talk about it.
One of the best tight ends in the league here. And again, what we've got, he comes hard underneath, and you've got Jack Campbell kind of gets stout on him, but then looks like he lets him release at a given point.
Yeah, because it's really off camera. But
it looks like he lets him release, and he watches, and it's almost like spying for Jackson. Well, in doing so, he leaves one of the best tight ends in the league to find a spot behind those settling linebackers. And now Jack Campbell can do nothing but try to make a play about 12, 13 yards downfield. So in and around there, whether this was scheme, and again, something that Aaron Glenn needs to address, or somehow Campbell lost him and couldn't find and settling back towards, Andrews as Andrews, released from his little jam there. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. And either Jack Campbell's going to get better or our scheme's going to get better.
Now here's the St. Brown catch, Coach. This is a nice play that the Lions drew up on offense. Let's talk about this one.
Running bunch trips and being in bunch formation here, bunch empty. What it does, you can't run picks with your own players picking across the defender, but you can have the defenders picking each other. Yep, and that's exactly what you do when you come out of your out stems. Because you see these three receivers do that. One splits them, one goes right, one goes left, and somebody comes underneath. That's going to get guys running into each other. And that's kind of what happens here. Amon-Ra is able to can stay on his work here and get himself open. You can see that this is a concept that Jared Goff has worked on a lot with these guys because he's looking for it. He's looking for it. And boom, he sees it, delivers a ball, not a beautiful ball, but it's, underneath the Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra's got an easy first down, gets himself to about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, exactly, Coach. And it's a great concept because obviously a lot of teams try to run pick plays. It's illegal. You try to conceal it as best you can, but it's always better to make the defense pick themselves, and that's what you want. That was a nice play. This is a nice play action catch by Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, again, you see we kind of have a bunch formation here, and you've got the reverse motion going on. Here he comes, fake it, and now it ends up being a screen left. You see you got Glasgow, and you got the guards both out there releasing. Here's Penny Sewell. We know how well he does that. So this is a reverse screen pass. Great play concept. Here comes big Frank Ragnow. We've got numbers, and we've got Jahmyr Gibbs, an elite pass-catching running back, able to rumble for his yards there. So well done.
And yeah, Coach, like you said, we didn't have a lot of good to talk about today, but at the end of the day, we still were able to. There's stuff to build on here, and there's no question about that. And I'm sure that they've been hard at work all week preparing for the Raiders this week. But what's your big takeaway from this game now? Having looked through the film clips.
Let's stash it away and keep it for reference and looking at things if we have another loss that's similar to see what we have here. We saw some glaring mistakes and some indictments on some players. We saw some things that the opponent did just very, very well, and they are a fine, like we said, we talked about this being a fine football franchise and one that's been, a consistent high-level winner for 25 years. That is the Baltimore Ravens, and they're very capable of doing what they just did. But the Lions, if we're going to have a defensive scheme with defending a running quarterback the way we are right now, I don't know how well that's going to work in our favor the vast majority of the time, unless I'm missing something, which it just seems to me that's what's happening. There's just not enough attention provided to this quarterback once he gets his shoulders square, which means he's going to run the ball.
I think
offensively, when we're not getting out of our stance, we're dropping balls. It can be called into question whether we're getting the routes done right. JMO's been around for practice and those kinds of things. We need to see more from him. That's still something that we're looking to see. And we got to get healthy. We got to get our backs back, and we got to get healthy that way.
One thing I'm going to take away out of this, with the trade deadline coming up here, a lot of talk about possible running back, receiver help, defensive line, and defensive back help. I think this game showed us that if they are going to scheme this way, they need another big-time playmaker on the D-line. Hutch can't do it all himself. And I'm not saying he played a great game either, because you pointed out a couple instances there where clearly he shouldn't have taken the route that he did, should have stayed home, whatever the case is. But if they're going to scheme that way, then they need somebody else who's going to make, like in that Jackson play when he had 9 seconds to throw, someone needed to make a play there. And maybe I think Gregory's the one that's the big name out there that's being talked about. Maybe that's the route they go. I don't know, but
Brian Burns,
Chase Young.
Yeah, there are a few. Another high level, long, edge pass rusher, an edge defender, or an elite hybrid edge interior, 3-5 technique type player that can play the both. Essentially maybe a more accomplished Josh Paschal type. That's what we need.
We will trust Brad Holmes on this one. Now, Coach Campbell has said that. I know you've said that. So we're going to stick with Coach Campbell, with Brad Holmes, and let's see what he can do out there. But again, rough game. But at the end of the day, they have an opportunity to play the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football and go into their bye week at 6-2. Not a bad start. This is
reset and refocus. Like we said, like we said in the review, let's reset and refocus. We're no worse for wear. We're the exact same position that we were when we went into that game 5-1. So let's just right the ship and forward down the field and get rolling, the right direction again. And that easily can happen.
Absolutely. This has been Chalk Talk in the SPP Film Room. Coach Andy Scheel, thank you very much for your input. Folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button on our channel. Like the video. Get updates. We put out content every week. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patronage. And take care. And we will talk to you soon. This has been the Sports Peninsula Podcast. To subscribe to the podcast, simply click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel's homepage and give us a like. You can also follow our audio podcast on multiple platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts, just to name a few. Give us a follow on Twitter. Our handle is @SportsPPodcast to check out our latest releases. Thank you again for watching and for your support. Remember, when you want to hear all about sports in the great state of Michigan, there is only one Sports Peninsula Podcast.